Hello, everyone, and welcome to Barshens. Hi, Stuart.
Hello, Barry.
Would you like to introduce our special
I
guest?
bloody would, and I'm bloody going to.
Okay.
I'm also going to say bloody one more time during this podcast. Look out for it. That'll ruin things for the editor. It is Mr. Daniel Loyal Brown, Dazz from Did You Know Gaming and the Spriters Resource.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us, sir.
Anytime. I was already here.
Yes. He also shares this office with me.
Yeah.
Not this room, literally. That would be
a little bit too
awkward.
intimate, I think.
Yes.
This is a bit of a YouTubey office, then.
Oh,
It
yeah,
is,
for sure. Yeah.
Would you like to just give us a little summary of who you are and what you do, and so people out there can find out? And
Yeah. I don't run it on my own, but I do Did You Know Gaming, which is a YouTube channel all about gaming trivia. I also do the Sprites resource, which is a sort of collection of sprite sheets and stuff. All 2D pixel art and all that sort of stuff taken from games and made in the way in which people could use it and reference it for animation or making fan games.
nice.
There's also the models resource, sounds resource, and textures resource, which all do the same thing, but for models, textures, and sounds.
I'll come into that in a minute.
Oh,
That sounds
I didn't
really
know there
interesting.
was a model resource. That sounds useful.
Pretty big pain in the ass to deal with, because 3D models are not as simple as 2D sprites.
No, that's entirely true. You can't just embed the GIF on the page or something.
Sadly, that's true. Yeah.
So lots for us to get into. Should we kick off with a sharticle just to warm the
Let's
cockles?
break the ice with a sharticle.
Live at 10.
yeah. There's inspiration with Back to the Future and Star Wars there, apparently. And News at 10, I think.
Yes,
we
there's a
need
hint
Trevor
of that.
McDonald, don't we?
So, this is from BBC News website. Kelsey Carter, who is apparently a singer.
This is fresh
I'm
shark.
Never heard of her.
Me neither. Singer gets shocking Harry Styles tattoo on her cheek.
We've had a lot of submissions of this one.
Yeah.
This is fresh shark.
And for the people listening via audio, it's pretty bad. This lady has had tattooed on her face
my
a
God.
bad picture of what is supposed to be Harry Styles' face.
Doesn't even look like
And
him.
it takes up like one whole side of her face from her eye down to her chin. And it looks like it was scribbled in biro by a fool.
It does
really
look a little
not
bit
look
naff,
good.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Who is she? Sorry, a singer.
Apparently so, yeah.
Like a solo singer or a... God, if we're...
If it was made after 1989, I haven't heard it.
And it's a genuine tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's hideous.
Oh, yeah, we've got a close up.
Oh, wow. I mean,
It's
that looks
bad.
more like Kim Jong-un.
It actually does.
I really like the way that the hair is just not...
It's just drawn across the face. It looks like he's got a mass of spiders on his head. Which could be what she was going for, but
I mean,
yeah.
for publicity, I guess she's made the BBC News. So, I mean, that's pretty good for her. Now we're talking about her, even though we don't know who
That's
she
true,
is.
yeah,
So it's
What was her #1 hit single?
That's a good question. I'm going to have to do a bit of research, actually, because I have no idea. I didn't realise this person was famous in her own right.
She is. I think she's just like a wannabe singer.
Oh, so just...
Well, this is a good way of promoting
Yeah.
herself.
Yeah.
she's got herself an album now. Tats on my face.
Jesus Christ, could you imagine that, though? Every music video she ever does now,
Yeah.
it's going to have Harry Styles in it.
She'll be like that Gabrielle. Instead of an eye patch, she'll have like some sort of cheek patch, and it'll just get bigger and bigger. It's just like end up with just one side of her face that you can show.
I can just imagine now she can put on every track featuring Harry Styles.
Yeah, yeah.
And just sort of like play with her cheek and make it talk.
Because when this was submitted, we've had the
that was a good one for the audio people.
ventriloquist.
I was
Yeah.
manipulating my cheek there. For
Yeah, if we can
hilarious
describe
Harry
what you just
Styles
did, yeah,
antics.
kind of like the new Kiefer Norville, isn't it? You just make it just a tattoo on your face, or you used to do it with your hand when you draw biro on or whatever. It
I
was.
like the fact that I have no idea what Harry Styles even sounds like, so it's impossible to do an impersonation.
Actually, I've got to say, it's just that 14 times. That's a song.
That's the only song he's done.
I was trying to. Because we submitted so much, we had 6 people submit that in the last 24 hours.
Is it like a really recent?
Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
this week.
God.
Where some articles they just stand the test of time. This one I think is a publicity stunt potentially. I've been googling it.
A lot of people have been saying this. This
yeah.
is some sort of publicity stunt, and it's not a real tattoo.
She might have done
There's
a-
no such person as Harry Styles. The planet Earth has
Yeah,
never
it's just made
existed.
up,
Yeah, all that sort of stuff.
But yeah, I think she could have done like makeup and some biro or something like that. But she did credit quite a well-known tattooist there who's done some of the big guys and not actually.
Oh, like Post Malone.
yeah, that's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Have you got a tattoo?
No, I do want to get one.
Do
though.
you? What would you get?
Ooh, what's
There's the Soul Eater rune from Suikoden on the PlayStation 1.
Oh, really? Is that? I'm not
Ooh,
massively
that's
into gaming, so I'll have to Google that. What's
Yeah,
it called? A
it's-
Soul Eater.
Yeah, the Soul Eater rune. It's the one of the 27 true runes from the series. It's the coolest one.
Oh, it's a
Will
rune.
it
Sorry.
enable you to eat souls?
It allows you to consume souls, yes,
Ooh.
which somewhat the same.
So it's like a red and black tiled room with a piano? No.
No, what?
Is that what you want?
That's no.
For those watching on video, I'll send this so we can show it on the screen now.
So
Soul
Sam's got a
Eater dark
3D
room.
rendered, incredibly detailed picture
Is
of a
that-
room with grey
Like,
furniture in.
that's quite
It's
niche.
Like,
Is that
that
it?
would take up your whole back.
Rune.
No,
Rune. I thought you said rune, and I was like, I
Are
came up-
you no,
a rune.
Barrier search for rune.
It keeps changing it. Honestly, the first images that come up, Soul Eater Rune, ROON, yeah?
RUNE.
Oh.
Sorry,
it's
I'm not good with the whole language thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Like this?
That's the one.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's
Actually,
cool.
it's got the sort
Yeah.
of Grim Reaper vibe going
Yeah,
on.
exactly. And I thought
Yeah.
no one will know what it is, so it
Yeah.
won't make me
There's
look
one
like
with
a
like
massive nerd.
World globe around it or something?
Yeah, that's the intro.
Wow. I mean, you could get the room as well.
Yeah, I could get the room, but
Yeah.
I feel like most people, even myself, want to know what the fuck it is.
Have it on your cheek instead of Harry Styles.
I was just thinking, where would you get like that room put? Would you have it on your leg? Like,
I mean, you could,
your
you
back?
could,
Like,
it could look cool, to be fair.
yeah. It's quite. I like the whole checkerboard thing. Would you get a tattoo? Have you got one?
No.
No, I haven't got one either. We talked about tattoos.
Have we?
We talked about it yesterday about spiders' heads and stuff.
Oh, yes. And people have the cobwebs up the neck.
Yeah.
As a classic.
Yeah,
for
see,
you.
I would
Yeah.
go like leg, because
Suck it.
Yeah.
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 We were saying there's a guy in my hometown with he's got a shaved head and he's got a cobweb literally on it.
God,
But
It's not
I mean,
tattoo. It's just
just puts it on every morning.
big furry cuddly like build your bear spider on it. Just like, yeah, all right. Really intimidating. So was it genuine? Did he find out? anything else?
nobody
No?
knows. It is
No?
still, as of the time of recording,
Right.
unknown. But the Pope may be getting one to match.
Wow.
That would be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you say someone got a tattoo of you? Was that right?
Kind of.
Jesus.
So somebody has a sad onion on their arm, amongst
Oh,
other
that's
bits
pretty
and
cool.
bobs. Yeah. So, and another person, we were at a signing in London, and they said, "Oh, will you sign my chest?" Just above is a lady, but above her rude parts. And so I signed on it, and hello, I say, and then got my signature slightly wrong and all that kind of stuff. It's all right, good. And I said, "Don't forget to go off to the 24-hour London tattooist to get that made permanent." Ha ha ha. There actually are 24-hour London tattooists, and she actually did.
Oh, Jesus.
Not because I told her to, I hasten to add.
That's on you then.
No, it
just
was a
reminded
joke.
me.
She knew it was a joke, but no, she
But
actually did.
She
yeah.
did, and
it is.
she sent you a photo and stuff.
yeah.
Or?
Yeah.
Wow.
Good Lord. My brother has Fred Durst's tattoo, his signature tattoo on his chest. He went
Actually,
to-
from Fred Durst.
Yeah, he went to
Nice.
see Limp Bizkit live and got the signature and immediately went out and got it tattooed. And he doesn't regret it, but I wish I wasn't his brother.
Oh, I bet your brother. He's nice.
He's a nice guy, yeah.
Yeah. How did you get into? Did you know gaming is your main hub and your main?
Yeah, well, Sprites Resources really
Okay.
that's where I began and sort of I do that pretty much. I've got like volunteer independent people, but I run it through and through and do
Okay.
everything. But Did You Know Gaming is like the one that people know.
Okay. So that evolved from.
Well, Did You Know Gaming kind of started because I've got a friend called Shane Gill. He used to run the Sprites Resource when we were like 12. And,
It's been going a long time then.
yeah, it's been going way too long. I was doing it when I started doing sprite work when I was 9 years old, and I kept with it because I couldn't think of anything else that I can do. So then I realized I've been looking at games this whole time. I kind of know a little bit about that. So we started doing like trivia for games in sort of image format on Facebook and stuff, and then did a YouTube channel, and it immediately just exploded and
Wow.
kept going.
So, does the Sprites resource make money, or is it like just a resource? that's
It
not-
basically pays for itself with advertising on it. So because obviously it's copyright material, we don't want to make a profit. And
So that's what's thinking. Is there things like characters on there, like Sonic
yeah,
Hedgehog
you've got like
or-
Sonic, Mario, everything. There's every game on the bloody SNES that you can think of. as
Wow.
well.
Oh yes, always popular, the sprite rips.
Yeah.
Yes,
And people
it's
just
nice,
can go on down there and download it as a tool or a template or something.
Yeah, so
or-
they're just like image templates with all of the different frames of animation, all of the different sprites that a character has.
Oh, that's awesome.
really clever uses like Mugen, which is
Yeah.
one-on-one fighting games. It's like an open engine for that, but you can put your own characters in. So people have made just games where you can have almost anybody from any fighting game versus anybody else from any fighting game.
Wow.
And then they've inserted their own characters into it.
Okay.
and it's
Yeah, you can
become
have like the Colonel from
insane.
KFC fighting Goku.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
It's the matchup we all waited for.
Yes, yeah. So when you say sprites, is that I don't really know what a sprite is other than a fizzy drink.
So a sprite
Hashtag
is like it's like a sort of 2D element to a game. So I don't know how to really describe it.
It's not a pixel then, is it? It's
Yeah,
like,
well,
It's
Oh,
made up of pixels.
Yeah.
Ah,
so
okay.
like Sonic the Hedgehog in Sonic the Hedgehog is a sprite, and every single individual frame is an individual sprite.
So it's
Okay.
all the frames of animation that make up a character.
Yeah.
Wow,
All
okay.
the background is kind of
true,
counts,
so
I
yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Even in like 3D games. So Super Smash Brothers, the food that is 2D and it rotates with the camera, that's all built up of sprites.
Wow, that's really interesting. Like, there's no laws then with Nintendo and Sega. They never look at.
We've been doing it since like I don't know before
Yeah.
the millennium, so it's been going a long time. And
Wow.
they've contacted us before only to say like, can you take this down before the game actually comes out? And
Oh, so they're aware of you.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Even Capcom actually used the website once, which I found hilarious.
Wow.
So the sounds resource, we had the sound effects from all the Mega Man games, and then they did that Legacy Collection, whatever it was called,
Okay.
Mega Man Legacy, whatever. But I looked at the data for it because we reverse engineer all the files, and the sound effect was directly taken from our website, and I had the credit tag in the metadata.
Oh, wow.
So,
Fantastic.
yeah.
My God. It's probably a useful resource for them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Even Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, there was something from Mother 3,
Right.
and we looked at it and they kind of cropped away bits of the rest of the sprite, and it was it's all a bit dodgy
God.
and weird. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, you're not allowed to use these things to make a project that makes money.
Yeah.
But,
Yes.
that's not
It's,
these
it's like
guys.
fan
That's
materials.
on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do it, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there's the sprite resource, the sound resource that's capturing sound as well.
The sound effects.
What was the other one? Sorry, the model.
Models resource, which is the
Yeah.
3D models. So we reverse engineer it so that you can then just put it into Maya or 3ds Max or whatever you want.
Okay. And was there another one as well? Sorry.
There's textures, but we'll ignore that.
Yeah,
one. It's
yeah,
boring.
okay. No, that's fine. No, that's fine. Right. And did you go outside
if
of
you're a
gaming
game
as well?
developer.
You said touched on the kernel. Is there any
There's,
demand? for
There's tons of everything.
Wow.
You wouldn't believe some of the weird shit that we get on there.
that? Really?
man. Yeah.
You get requests and things.
Yeah, yeah. But we tend to ignore them because obviously we can't do everything. It's really just like a massive fan compilation. So I've ripped like 9,000 sprite sheets or something in my
Wow.
time, which is a ton.
How long does it take to do one?
It depends on the game. So sometimes it can take like a week to get one sprite sheet. Sometimes there was one time I worked out how to reverse engineer the sprites for one game, and it exported about 900 sprite sheets in 10 minutes.
Wow.
So
That's cool.
I remember a very early example of this, but on the Atari ST, the versions of Street Fighter and the appalling sequel Human Killing Machine, because they had like their own version of Street Fighter. It's a long story, but they actually saved the sprites on the disc in like an easily readable Atari ST format, and you just literally load it up in your art package, and you just had them there.
yeah,
Like the sprite sheet was literally on the disc, and the game read it.
it's such a weird thing as well because every game is different, right? So some games you can. There was one I was looking at recently, which was a DOS game, and I worked out that the installer file just loads an image from the data. So I just renamed the image that it was loading to the character or whatever, and it just shows you all of their sprites. And
Wow.
just take a screenshot. There you go. It's all done.
Right.
And sometimes, like basically the old school method, before we were adults and worked out how code works, we used to just take a screenshot every single frame.
Whoa.
And that was very time consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially something like a fighting game where one character can
Yeah.
have hundreds
And
upon hundreds.
the worst thing is fighting games are the number one hardest thing to rip from because the way in which the sprites work is they take like sprites are normally sort of made up of like tiles.
Yep.
So it'll take a 32 pixel tile by 32 and that's their head. So every sprite will just have their head pasted onto the body.
Right.
So you've got to rip every single head, every single arm animation and sort of splice them together. And
It's almost like a Rubik's cube.
yeah, it's, oh my
And then
God.
looking at something like Street Fighter 3, which is like a huge number of frames
Yeah,
of
yeah.
animation just for every punch.
It's absolutely nuts.
Bloody hell.
And then again, I had to work out to basically use the code that they use to make the frames in the game and to kind of make them for me in a way in which I can take the screenshot and then put it together. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was the biggest
Ooh,
bastard.
so many
Yeah.
characters in there.
Yeah. And then there's layers upon layers of frames and bits and it's complicated.
It's either that or literally take a screenshot of every single frame and then cut the background out, which is
that's-
horrifying.
whew. When emulators started to have like layers, so you could remove the background,
yes.
that was the best thing
Yeah.
because it saved so much time.
Because you're trying to get a plain-looking background. Because if you have, like, your fighter in front of us, a messy
Yeah, like
background...
Street Fighter with the hens and all that in the
Exactly.
background.
You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
is that a part of the sprite or is that part of the chicken?
Yeah,
and-
exactly. Especially things on black backgrounds and they've got black outlines, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know where it begins and ends. So
Wow. Do you find that people use it for certain things? Just to do you know why people are taking?
I mean,
it? Like,
I've never really questioned it. I've
Yeah,
just always
do
run
what
it,
you want
and
with it, yeah.
people seem to like it. I know that like the number one is obviously Mugen fan games, that kind of stuff. People use it for YouTube to make animations on their videos. Perla beads, big one.
Oh, yes.
So like at conventions, you know how they
Yeah.
sell characters that are made up of little plastic beads.
right. So they use
just
those. Is it?
Use that as a reference.
Yeah.
Wow. So so you've got the data to see the most popular ones then?
Yeah, I think normally it's like sort of custom made. So we also have custom made sprites that people make themselves.
So you could make Stuart. Are you on there?
But
I
that's the
hope
thing.
not.
Non-commercial, we don't allow it. So it has to be a commercially released game of some sort for it to be on there.
So it's
yeah.
it is mainly gaming is the focus, but every now and then you get like the kernel. pop
Yeah,
up
I
in
mean,
there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
to be fair, he's probably been in.
Yeah. Was there a
Something.
KFC game?
Oh, man.
There's a Burger King game,
There
right? So-
absolutely
Was
is.
it?
There's
Yeah.
3 Burger King games.
yeah,
When
they were all bollocks.
yeah. The best one is Sneak King.
Yeah.
Where you are the Burger King and you run sort of, it's like a stealth game, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you got to surprise people with a Whopper.
Yeah. And like people walking on, you
That
have to jump
sounds so wrong.
and you get more points for how much flourish you do.
Oh,
so every
really?
time instead of just going, he goes, "Whoa."
Yeah, you got to dance it up.
Yeah.
Really? There's like
It's
different
the
buttons to make him
greatest game.
dance and stuff.
It's the only game I've ever properly played on the original Xbox.
Yeah, and my phone is going off.
That's all right.
It's the,
You
it's the
should
Burger
answer it.
It's the Burger King. Open the curtains.
It could be Ronald McDonald. No, try my burgers.
Just yeah, don't talk about Burger King.
There's been a lot of McDonald's games. McDonald Land,
Yeah.
Ronald
MC
McDonald
Kids.
Saves. Oh,
With Mick and
bloody
Mac.
hell, yeah.
Globetrotters.
Okay, McDonald's or Burger King?
Burger King.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really?
I can't do a Burger King fries.
No,
I'll
I
have
agree
a
with
Burger
you.
King burger, McDonald's fries.
Yeah, I tend to
Absolutely.
agree.
Yeah.
My problem is Burger Kings are often don't seem to be run that well, and
No.
often your burger's cold,
Mm.
or you
Also-
ask them for a burger and they punch you, or is that just me? No, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
often like on the outskirts, right? So you got to go through,
Yeah.
drive through, and then.
Sorry, can I just interject? Burger King milkshakes.
Yeah,
Ah.
but
milkshakes.
the machines are always broken.
Yeah.
Not always. The other day,
Remember?
Why didn't you text me, you bastard?
on Twitter, I did. I was like, "Lads."
No, this is a running joke between me and Ryan because multiple times we have tried to get milkshakes from Burger King. They're always that machine's broken.
yeah.
Well, when I was in New Zealand, actually, McDonald's, they had lime milkshake.
Oh,
Wow.
That's the best thing I've ever seen.
You wouldn't think of that because of the
You'd think it-
acidity.
you'd think it
yeah,
was
like
brutal.
curdling with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it's it's delicious.
So it's the same.
Wow.
It's literally the same texture as a McDonald's milkshake
just
here
a
or
normal
wherever.
milkshake, but limey.
Wow.
I want to it insults the British.
Yeah, that's right.
I'd really like to try one of those. Now.
Yeah, they're really good.
So you've done a lot of traveling then.
Yeah, I when I was 20 years old, I traveled around the world for 6 months.
Wow.
Just because I could do it by whatever I was doing, I could just do from a laptop anywhere.
Oh, cool.
So-
Yeah. So did you started going east? Did you go Europe? or-
Well, I first off, I started in America, traveled around all over there.
Oh, cool.
Went to Canada, Fiji, Australia, Hong Kong, New Zealand. I can't even remember anymore.
Yeah.
There's-
What was your favourite?
That's a good question. Probably Well, it's hard to say. They all have their own thing. You know, New Zealand is really nice because you can kind of take a break and no one cares about anything.
it's quite scenic there, isn't it?
Yeah. And Fiji is obviously just chilling out on beaches and getting drunk.
Yeah.
Which is, hey, no complaints.
Yeah,
Not like Western
sounds doable.
Supermare where I live, really. It's just mud.
They also have they have kava, which tastes like mud, which is
Ah.
really nice. It's a hallucinogenic drink.
Wow.
Whoa!
Yeah, it just tastes like dirty water. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an
Not that I'm
experience.
encouraging hallucinogens.
Yeah.
It's,
Whoa! So is it like in the sense of proper hallucinogens, or more like the sort of old?
I had like I don't know how much the dosage I had or whatever, but I was tripping balls.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Bloody hell,
But don't
I've
do,
never
but
heard
don't
of
do
that.
it, guys.
No, don't do it.
Wow. So you could do your website and stuff from while you were traveling.
Yeah,
Is that all the
it's,
sprite-
so the thing with sprite ripping is obviously it's mostly to do with older games, and crappy little laptops can handle that no problem.
Yeah.
So obviously emulators are the main way in which you can tell if something's right or wrong. So
you've got other people running that site for you, and your main focus is
yeah,
Did You Know Gaming?
we've got like a sort of volunteer crew of a number of people. I want to say like 10. They've all been doing it since we were all kids. It's a huge community. There's like 250,000 viewers a month.
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. And is it the minute a new game comes out, do you hop on it, or do you stay retro?
We try to,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's not that simple,
So most games now are 3D.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, which is why we did the models resource, because we were like, oh shit, dude.
Okay. Yeah.
Got to still do something. But yeah, I mostly concentrate now on Did You Know Gaming because it's kind of enjoyable and
Yeah. So you just had that real passion to start that channel up, or was it something that's just progressively come from?
Well, Shane started the website,
Yeah.
and he was basically like, I need help because this is a complicated thing. I did Sprites resource, so I knew how advertising and all that sort of stuff worked, so I got on board and helped out. And then just over time, I got more involved, made more videos with him, and it was basically two of us making videos.
That's awesome. Yeah. Have you got like a video that's done amazingly well, more than any? Have you got like a viral one? Or,
Well, they kind of all went viral when it started, which was nuts because we didn't know it was going to be successful at all. We were just like, yeah, this will be fun.
Yeah.
Might make us like a little bit of an audience.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
kind of
it
like
just-
authentic like that. I like that.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, next minute it had 2 million bloody subscribers.
Wow.
Which was...
Yeah. So how did you come to know Stuart? I mean, obviously you work in the same office.
That was a really weird...
It was weird.
Yeah.
Because I'd always assumed Did You Know Gaming was American, like a
Yeah.
lot of people, which is ludicrous because most of the voiceovers are English. But you'd think we'd notice, really, wouldn't you?
Only after we met you, that's when we started to do voiceovers on it properly. Before then, we got guests on.
Of course,
for
because
every
it was
episode.
always that's how, yes.
Yeah, because we were like, to be honest, that's a good way of building an audience is don't do any of it yourself. Get popular people to do it with the voice, and then they go, oh, I like that guy. I'll watch the video because they talk about their favorite game.
Right.
But yeah, I bumped into Stuart in Tesco.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Tesco near the office.
I was
we've been in there
really
for sure.
drunk as well, so
Oh, right.
I was I can't really remember why I was pissed, but I remember buying a sausage roll, saw Stuart,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh shit, that's Stuart.
Oh shit, that's Stuart.
Yeah, just a vision, and I was like, I must contact this guy.
That's
And then I
great.
happened to be in there anyway, so I was crazy.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
shouted my names. All right.
There seems to be quite a lot of YouTubers in Norwich.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have a Norwich fact a minute ago as well.
Oh, go on, hit us
was
with
it?
your Norwich fact.
After 1565, many weavers came to Norwich fleeing religious persecution in what is now Holland and Belgium. They brought their canaries with them. Soon the native people of Norwich adopted rearing canaries as a hobby. By the 18th century, Norwich was famous for its canaries, and today Norwich football team is nicknamed the Canaries. That's
Nicknamed.
Norwich
I mean,
facts.
it's just their name, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes,
yes,
That's what calls them.
Yeah.
pretty official, isn't it? And there used to be the Canary pub. It was quite
Yeah.
big. I used to live quite close to it. My main memory of that is had this massive sign on the side saying "The Canary" and a big picture of like the canary, symbol and that. And a car, as I was walking past them, as a car stopped and said, "Sorry, mate, do you know where the Canary pub is?" I'm like, "Yes, this is it." And he went, "Where?" He went, no, this building that we're right by that says "The Canary" on it with a big picture of a canary. This is the thing. Where is it? Is this one? Really? Yeah, and then just drove off.
Bit disappointing, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, what?
It's not
I mean,
really like a central stop of Norwich.
it's just like a pub.
I think the weavers who came over as well, they started out in Strangers Hall, which is
Yes.
the sort of-
Because they were referred to as the Strangers.
yeah.
Yep.
And now there's Strangers Coffee, #1 coffee place in Norwich, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen.
Just been there.
Oh, yeah. We have just been there. Oh.
Highly recommend their sausage roll as well.
Yeah, I always go for the caramel latte. and
Can you
they-
make a Sprite out of that? It's like...
This is not pixel art, Barry. It's not how it works.
Oh, really?
Let's put that on there. # not spawn. But apparently we're advertising them anyway.
Did you sometimes see like canaries just randomly flying around Norwich?
No.
I've never seen one.
Never seen a canary.
Canaries don't survive in the wild in this country. That's fun.
Swooped up by a pigeon or a seagull. Just
They also didn't really
yeah.
didn't survive well in the mines either, to be fair.
They're mythical beasts. They don't actually exist. No one's ever seen one. It's
Somebody just drew a budgie
Yeah.
badly.
We should call it a canary. Yeah. You had any other interesting jobs, or do you do anything else on the side? I had a little hint from Stuart. He dropped me a carrot earlier.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
So
So,
here's the story. Yeah.
My dad does removals for a living, like house removals
Yeah.
and everything else. And he, that's obviously a nice job because you can move people from their old house to a new house and they love it and all this sort of stuff. But he also cares for people who, have worse off in life,
Okay.
in terms of they're hoarders or they don't know how to look after themselves.
Yeah.
But we had like a pretty fucked up, crazy situation where someone died. And my dad walked in.
So is that like a common thing? He would do a lot of death ones, or
It's kind of, it varies.
Yeah.
You know, it would happen every now and then, but he's never like found the person dead in the house.
Oh, was that what happened here?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And it was
wow.
pretty nuts. And the house is the kind of thing which I can describe it, but it'll never describe what was in it. But this guy,
But he got a phone call from someone to go there.
yeah, and it was like
As in, this guy wants to move house, or
it was a regular client. So my dad kind of knew him, which was obviously quite upsetting. But he basically went in, and this guy didn't have a sense of smell, didn't really have the perception of like you shouldn't shit on the floor. Didn't use a toilet, didn't use anything. Everything was just covered in shit.
So your dad would go there sometimes and try and make
Just,
good, or something?
clear it all up, put it all away, like not throw away his stuff,
Yeah.
but you know, he'd just kind of make it more manageable. But yeah, we were clearing out all of this guy's stuff, and it was just like,
So he was like a really extreme hoarder of technology. Wasn't he?
he had like, goddamn man, like 1,000-pound graphics cards just like broken in the corner, just covered in feces, and piss, and So I had to go in and clean it up, work out what was of value for the family, and divide everything up into what was manageable for the family to even take. And that was a really pretty fucked up time. To be honest with you,
You said there was like almost up to your armpits just in stuff.
Yeah, I mean he had a whole room like the size of this room probably, which was just boxes filled with stuff, and it was like probably 7 different computers which had been in different parts. You could put them all together and make probably £15,000 worth of computers.
So real top-notch stuff then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like GTX 1080 Ti's.
Okay.
Found 2 of them. Found like SSDs, 2 terabyte SSDs. I mean, just I can't even remember half of it. Dremel kits that had never been opened.
What's
Model
Dremel
kits.
kits?
Dremels are like drill
Yeah, small handheld drill.
Oh yeah.
for
okay,
like
yeah.
engravings.
Yeah. Wow.
And like, I mean, this is the thing. It's stuff which is he had all of these high-end computers, 2 Nintendo Switches which were just buried.
So it's quite recent then.
Was this
yeah.
all opened, or was some of it still in like the Amazon?
Some
boxes
was open,
unopened?
some of it wasn't. So yeah, there was still like packages from Amazon that he clearly just got in and just shoved in the corner and forgot about. His computer setup as well. So it was a really weird situation because obviously we found loads of really expensive computer stuff, but his rig was like, it had no sides, it was falling apart, the USBs were just floating around everywhere.
Wow.
It wasn't as good as some of the stuff that we had found around, but he had like a 32-inch widescreen monitor that was worth like £1,000 attached to a computer which was falling apart and covered in shit.
Whoa.
Really weird.
And when you say covered in shit, you mean literally, covered in human excrement.
Oh, like he might have just literally pooed on it or something.
Yeah.
That's insane.
He couldn't get to the toilet.
Yeah.
The smell must have been unbelievable.
Unreal. Yeah. And the problem was obviously that the guy had died there, so the police had to come and take the body away and everything else. And so there was maggots and
Of course, because even if he
through
hasn't
everything.
been there long in that environment, the body's going to rot very quickly.
Yeah. So like these graphics cards, fuck man, I found one I'll never forget. So I took the heatsink off of the graphics card because I was like, it's broken. Might as well see what I can salvage out of it.
Yeah.
Took the heatsink off, and there were maggots in the thermal paste, and they'd been eating away at it and would just died inside a graphics card. So it was.
So it's soaked through the boxes, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, all of the boxes had to be chucked because cardboard.
You did show me one box with an SSD and sealed, and you were like, this was from the clean area, but still the smell lingered.
Yeah.
It smelled exactly like... Do you remember those ET games that were buried in the desert? They've got one at the Centre for Computing History, and
and
the
you
bloke
can
said,
smell
"Oh,
it."
have a smell of that," and you're like, "Oh God, it was exactly the same."
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
It's one of those things where eventually when you're in there, obviously you kind of get used to it, but you can't ever get used to that.
Yeah.
That's a
Is
next
that Vicks
level.
vapor rub under the
Yeah,
nostrils?
that's what we used to do. I think Vicks.
Probably should have got some.
Oh, yeah, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, so you took it like a boss then. Like, yeah.
Had hazmat suits and shit though.
Oh,
'cause-
yeah, of course, yeah. Maggots and stuff. Did you salvage anything? Did you manage to get? Was there anything that obviously with the shark dusted off it?
I mean,
it could-
yeah. So we obviously gave the family everything that they could take. But there was still tons left over, and it's
Right.
like, well, we have to take this to the dump or take it
you
to my dump.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
which-
Yeah.
So that was quite, it paid, but at the same time, it's like I still feel weird about it. It's kind of otherwise.
Yeah,
That's
very-
one of the only ones I ever went
Yeah.
on, and I was like, yeah, I'm never doing that again.
It's crazy, yeah. So you hear about something like that, you don't realize how stuff like that happens. You think,
Yeah.
"Oh, everything's good, you know.
It's that thing where it's like, obviously, weird shit happens all
Yeah,
the time, right?
yeah,
People
yeah.
die and they've got stuff. What happens
Yeah.
to it?
Yeah.
But yeah. Fun gaming.
yeah. I can see why that's suddenly a bit more of the priority. Like,
Did
yeah.
you know hoarding? That's the next one.
Yeah, that's the next spin-off thing. Is the
Yeah,
hoard
yeah.
thing.
Fucking, honestly, that's one of those things though where you got to give people who do that job credit, because
Yeah.
I was there for 2 days and that was my limit. I was
Wow.
an emotional wreck after,
Yeah, I can imagine.
because like I can look back on it now and be like, I've done it and it's all good, but when I was doing it, I was like, fucking hell. Like the fact is that the guy wasn't always a hoarder. It just happened
Yeah,
one day.
like what triggers that to be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
There's a long
mean,
story, isn't
look.
it? Who really knows? Yeah, yeah. Look at this.
It's the thing, I've been seeing Pete Nostalgia Nerd, and it's just
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
Oh yeah,
Jesus
man,
Christ.
Peter's office.
Is he going for it? Is he?
Our entire reception is just a mass of CRTs.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's probably,
Wow.
15 CRTs just in that reception?
You know, big old-fashioned televisions.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you've seen it, haven't you?
Yeah. So we've seen him on the Hoarders resource.
Yeah.
This is the new spin-off site.
People who want to stop hoarding but don't want to throw the stuff away.
Yeah, so just
That's
store
what
it.
he wants.
Yeah, just pick
5 CRTs, pick them up from.
I think we've just resolved hoarding, which is a common thing. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
programs about it all the time. But like, maybe that's it. You offer a digital hoarding website where you take photos. You still got
It's
it.
kind of the crazy thing about hoarding is that anyone could be a hoarder.
Yeah.
You have no idea. And they could be completely rational, normal people, but they just don't want to throw away anything because it's theirs and they give it value for some reason.
Some of it's in the acquisition of it. People will just buy, like this guy, not even opening the parcel. People do that.
Yeah, yeah.
This thing off eBay. Oh, brilliant, got it. But as soon as they've got it, it kind of loses value to
But
them.
then
But they won't get rid of it.
it's a weird
You
thing
know,
because
yeah.
it's
So they
like,
don't look after it, but...
I live a very minimalist life. Like I make sure that I don't collect much. I quite like having space and everything else. And it's like the games industry and retro gaming in particular encourages the idea of you gotta have it all. You gotta have every game and never play them.
Yes.
And I'm just like, if I'm not gonna play it, I don't really want it.
Yeah, which is, I guess, with the digital gaming and downloads now, maybe that removes that a little bit. But then there is a nice sort of, like we were saying, the nostalgia sort of thing is that tangent, that sort of
Yeah.
tangible, something that you can feel and like. And there was it might have been Ollie Putland. I think he retweeted a tweet recently of like someone who showed a shelf that had every Nintendo game ever from
Yeah.
like 1985.
And again, like don't get me wrong,
It's like-
it's the dream.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, the housing that people in the UK typically have, it's not gonna work.
yeah. At what point does it become okay? This is big crazy now.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really getting
yeah.
in the way.
I'm slowly getting towards collecting all the UK PAL Sega Saturn games.
Yeah.
But now I'm worried about bit rot.
Yeah.
Because the CDs are beginning to decay.
Yeah.
None of them that I've got thus far, but that might start happening. Suddenly these things that are worth like £300 for this copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just gone.
Yeah.
because I know that obviously VHS rot with the
Yeah.
tape and that. So the CDs do as
right,
well.
so- yeah, a different process. I mean, a VHS will demagnetize,
Yeah.
but CDs are solid things. I won't do that. But cheaper CDs, particularly the ones used for Saturn games, apparently, the coating of it can basically deteriorate over time, and then it's just unreadable, and it becomes nothing other than a coaster with a hole in it. You know.
Yeah. Have you got a favourite game console or anything like that? Is it
Suikoden, PlayStation 1.
okay?
It's Japanese RPG by Konami.
Yeah. I know of that. I've seen images. I've not played it. but,
Yeah, it's pretty like one of the rarest PlayStation 1 games in
Right.
the UK at least.
Your copy in the office is framed.
Yeah, because I love it so much.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I used to rent it from what was it? It wasn't Blockbuster, Choices on Dereham Road in Norwich.
Yeah. I missed that Blockbuster thing. Are you
yeah.
going in there, picking a DVD or film to go and watch?
I just PlayStation 1 games, man, all the time.
Is it? Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I rented it so much, and eventually the disc got ruined because someone else rented it once.
Oh no.
And I was just like, this is the worst day of my life. I can't rent this overpriced game.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
probably bought the game 5 times over.
I completed it so many times as well. It's like I know the story line for line.
So that's like interesting because we've asked that question to a couple of people now, and it's been very. You seem very certain about that.
Yeah. Suikoden 2 in particular is the best one.
Right.
Yeah. But it's obviously, being realistic, it's not the best game ever made. It's got a lot of problems and it's kind of boring and slow paced. But it's
your
what I grew up
favourite?
with.
Yeah,
and-
maybe that's
yeah.
the charm as well.
enough.
Yeah.
We've got 3 questions that we normally ask people. First one: what is the most embarrassing moment you've ever been in, experienced, apart from probably the removal thing? I mean, that's not embarrassing. It's a bit.
That's the
dark.
opposite.
Yeah.
Maybe saying,
So when I was a kid, I used to wear absolutely ludicrous shit. Like, to be honest with you, like I've got long hair, and I've had long hair since I was a little kid because I just never got it cut. But I used to wear like big furry jackets.
Okay.
And I had moon boots, which were big mammoth.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know,
Wow.
And we went to the park. I was probably like 7. I can't really remember. But these dogs were infatuated by it. So they just came charging at me. And I wish there was a video of it because I just remember running full pelt, screaming at the top of my lungs.
Being chased by dogs.
Being chased by these 2 giant dogs. And then the owner was just like, it's okay.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just came over and just lie down. It's like, oh, yeah, forget. Dogs aren't brutal savages. They're going to rip me apart.
What do you know? What breed they were? Were they like Alsatians? So
long
I'm just
time
wondering
ago,
if they
man.
thought they were.
I remember they were big and had teeth. You know?
I just remember. I'm trying to think of like these police training videos where they're like, teaching.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
they thought you were
And
one of them.
that was literally what was going through
Yeah,
my mind. You know, it's
yeah.
like, fuck, gotta get away from that.
Yeah,
I'm
they,
gonna rip my moon boots.
do you see them? They're like, we're going to test the Alsatian out now. Watch this, German Shepherd, and kill. And some policeman, pulled the short straw. They chased these dogs, and he just like stood there going, like that. Like maybe the moon boots. The moon boots were big.
Yeah.
They had like a puffer jacket for your feet.
And it's crazy how like my memory of that day is obviously it's very much solidified in my mind of the most terrifying moment in the world, but also it was incredibly embarrassing because I was screaming at the top of my lungs with tons of people around.
yeah.
Oh.
But I just completed Crash Bandicoot 1. So
Nice perks. Have you ever been in a local newspaper?
I was recently. There was the EDP recently did a thing about like the gaming industry that makes a load of money. You know, it's a big media thing. It makes loads of money. So they asked me about my opinion.
Oh,
I was
cool.
like,
Yeah.
yep, it does.
Yeah.
Good spot, guys.
I don't know if there's photo shoot with bling on. Like, yeah.
I think
Nothing.
they basically were just asking like, why does it make so much money? I was
Yeah,
like, because
yeah.
video games are fun and people like to play them.
Like it's a bigger industry than Hollywood, money wise, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was just like, well, because loot boxes are real shit and cause people to get into gambling.
was it all about at the moment, isn't it? Ongoing monetization, whether
Yeah.
that be through in-app purchase
And I totally
or
get it.
games as a service.
Yeah,
you know.
I get the idea of like you buy one game and you'll keep making money, or you make one game, you keep making money off of it. You don't have to make so many. But at the same time, you look at EA and what they've published. It's like 2 games in their upcoming games list.
Yeah.
Whereas before they used to release like 60 a year. The
Absolutely,
PlayStation 2 days, there was mid-budget titles. And
Grand Theft Auto did that as well recently.
Yeah.
They should be releasing another one, but
Oh,
we're going to focus
God.
on online now because
Yeah.
they're downloadable content. Or you want this amount of money? Oh yeah, buy this pack.
you want to
and
just pay to have more shit in the
Yeah.
game, which you could just earn.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, how much money is Fortnite making? Something millions a day,
yeah.
isn't it?
But-
I think it's worth billions.
Yeah, and it's free.
Yeah, but Epic Games have actually recently changed it, so they don't do the loot box thing anymore. They now do it so you can buy whatever it is you want in the game. So they've
That's
done the
much
thing
better.
which they should have done ages
Yeah.
ago. So they've corrected the issue, and at least with them, they're making a new storefront, which is going to be better for publishers and everything else. It's going to
Because
assuming
it's
it's
all
not, you know,
cosmetic in Fortnite, isn't it? It's,
Yeah.
it gives you no advantage.
Yeah,
in the game
exactly. And again,
whatsoever,
like
yeah.
DLC like that, where you know what you're getting, it's fine. I get that. You know, it's in the same way as horse armor.
Yeah, if it's genuinely optional, well, all right.
Yeah,
then.
it's, I've got problems with that as well, but at the same time, it's like it's the lesser of.
That's the thing. We say it's genuinely, but it's never quite that simple. Like Fortnite, if you go on like the main lobby with default skins, you get bullied.
Yeah,
basically.
absolutely. And like kids, of course, they're going to be pressured to buy cool shit if all their
Yeah,
friends have
because
cool
it's the
shit.
like a new set of trainers or something, like
Yeah.
in school and stuff.
You're not
Yeah.
going to turn up without flashy trainers.
That's it, or moon boots. Exactly.
The dogs will get you.
Pretty sure I wasn't really stirring that fashion craze back then.
It's a strong look, like it's standing out. Who's the most famous person you've ever met?
Well, it depends on what circles.
Oh, the mainstream
this minute,
circle.
yeah.
Hideo Kojima.
Who's that? Sorry.
He is the man behind Metal Gear Solid.
Oh,
such
wow.
all the big games.
So in the gaming world, he's like,
Konami sent me to Japan to go and play Ground Zeroes, and
oh wow,
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
As much as Ground Zeroes was a bit of a rip-off, it was.
oh wow,
Do tell him
sounds
that.
awesome.
To be fair, at the time, that was the worst thing. Is they're like, don't forget to tweet your impressions and stuff. And I was like, hey, this is pretty good. It's like quite fun.
Yeah.
But that was before I knew that was it. It was a 1 hour game that cost 30 quid.
Oh wow.
So
literally does take about an hour, doesn't it, as well?
It's insane.
Yeah.
But that was a really cool experience. But also Craig Charles.
Oh, right. He was in my hometown DJing quite recently. So
Yeah.
he does
We
a lot
went
of
to
funk
see
and
him at
soul.
Norwich New Year's Eve one year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my sister knows him really well. They got phone numbers exchanged, call each other all the
sweet.
time.
Yeah. Did he host Robot Wars? Is that
Robot
what-
Wars,
did,
and
back in the
Lister
day,
on Red
Yeah.
Wolf.
Was
yeah.
it a Wooga? Did he used to do that? No.
Yeah, Awooga Data Dregs.
What was that from?
was from, what was it called? Cyberzone or something?
Oh, it was like a strategy gamey thing.
yeah,
with...
VR type
Yes.
TV show, semi-reality thing. My God, that's
See,
going back.
The only gaming thing I think Craig Charles ever did was I don't know why.
Right.
When I was a kid, I got like a VHS of a Nintendo cheats thing that
Okay.
he presented, and it was like, to get 99 lives in Super Mario Brothers, you can do the shell trick.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have to go now.
That's his new gaming channel now, isn't it? Wow, that's
Yeah,
pretty
he had a
interesting.
whole virtual reality series. I think it was called Cyberzone.
Can
yeah.
I have a little Google of that?
Yeah.
It was really good.
There is definitely some of it on YouTube. So I looked it up recently for some reason.
Oh, yeah, there's videos on it. Yeah, if you Google the Cyberzone Craig Charles.
Awooga Data Dregs.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a pod, right? Have you got anything you want to sort of promote? Obviously, we've talked about the Sprite resource.
Yeah,
Where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Did You Know Gaming, and you can find me on the internet at www.spriters-resource.com.
Nice. That was very well put.
Models resource.
I've got an extra question. What is your favourite bit of gaming trivia you've come across?
Oh, that's a
good
bold question. I haven't got
Yeah.
a bloody clue.
I was going to say it's probably too broad. I haven't
Yeah.
given you any time to think.
There was that. I think it was like. I'm trying to think back. But basically, it was a Stargate MMO game that was being made, and the guy who was doing it got investors on board and didn't tell them that they were getting more investors on board, and basically inflated shares, and it was all just ran away with everyone's money, made millions off of it, all over Stargate.
Wow.
So it was a massive, massive corporate clusterfuck.
And all over the TV show with the magic portal
With
to
and
ancient
the
Egypt. and
weird
that.
Egyptian guys. Yeah. I never really liked that show. I thought it was a bit shit.
I've never seen that original film with Kurt Russell in. I really should watch that one day.
No, I've never even looked into the show. I just remember reading about this game and being like, Jesus Christ, this man made a lot of money on like 10 minutes of work telling people, hey, invest in this.
Well, then just run off.
And then just ran off.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mentioned quickly my favourite one from Tomb Raider 2. In Tomb Raider 1, there was a false rumour going around that if you put in a certain combination of controls, Lara Croft became naked.
I looked for that one, yeah.
And it doesn't work.
Damn.
But they actually put it in the game in Tomb Raider 2, where if you do that exact combination, she explodes.
Oh, amazing.
Like just
Yeah, I was never good with that, like my sync and stuff. Like even trying to do a Hadouken on Street Fighter. I could do that, but it was the it was the other one.
okay,
like
that'll
the-
do, mate.
when he does the uppercut.
Shoryuken.
Shoryuken. Yeah, I
Which has both Ryu and Ken's name in it.
Yes, show Ryu, Ken. That's when Ken's got a new hat or something. Show Ryu will love that.
Check that out.
Ryu, Ken.
Show and Tell with
Ken.
Ryu and Ken. It's a
Hello,
new
Ryu.
show.
Got me
Brilliant. Oh, yeah, we can make that now. We can download the sprites and
Yeah.
it's a new thing.
Give
I'll let you do that. honestly.
Thanks, yeah. Give me 4 years.
There's that YouTube channel Dorkly that uses our website way too much.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, man. Dorley
And
has had huge
Barely
amounts.
ever gives any bloody credit. Though.
Oh,
Yeah, the amount of bloody sprite-based videos they've done
It's
over
nuts.
the years.
Yeah, that's the thing though, is that we never ask for credit or anything.
no.
So
but
I mean, it's like
sometimes it's courteous, though, right?
yeah, and especially when their entire career is built on it.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't hurt, really, would it?
Yeah, it'd be quite
yeah.
nice.
So if anyone knows them, please
Yeah.
kindly credit. All right. Thanks very much. Cheers for joining us.
job.
And,
Anytime.
yeah, I've
Thanks,
got to
Daz.
drive home in a minute.
Barshens!